Hello, everyone. It's Junie checking back in with all of you. I wanted to look at the astrology chart today for the explosion, the tragedy that happened in Tennessee today. My heart goes out to any of the victims in Tennessee. We are all brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter which state we live in, which politics we believe in, whether you're a red state or a blue state. We are all brothers and sisters, and my heart completely breaks for my brothers and sisters in Tennessee that may have lost a loved one at this explosion today. There's multiple victims. From the last I heard, there's probably about 19 people that are still unaccounted for with this explosion. From what I understand, this is I'm not sure if it's completely military run, but they're pretty much sure their main customers were Homeland Security and part of our military operations where they made explosions for our military. That is this company's main provider is Homeland Security and things like that. So this was a ammunition, factory where they would make explosive devices. So this building and the vehicles that were in the parking lot are just torn to shreds, on fire. Okay, so I wanted to look at the astrology and just see what I can figure out. So if anyone else wants to pull a chart, I pulled a chart for 7:48 a.m. in McEwen, Tennessee. At I believe it is 7:48 when the explosion, when the call is done made for the explosion. So we're gonna look at the day of the week. It's a Friday. That is ruled by Venus. Venus is the things that you cherish. The things that you value. Venus is playing a role here in this chart a lot, and I'm just gonna go through the chart and figure out what I feel about Venus being the ruler of the chart, because on the AC line I have Venus ruling the chart because all of the victims would be going under Libra, which means that these people had a relationship with everyone there. These people were known to each other. So I can look at it like that. These were people that were known to each other at their work environment. The hour, so the day of the week is Venus on Friday. Venus rules Friday. The hour, a planet rules each hour. So at 7 a.m., a planet rules the morning time, and a planet rules the nighttime, and then a planet rules every hour. So at 7 a.m., the sun was ruling 7 a.m. At 8 a.m., it goes back to Venus, because this event happened between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. So I wanted to look at both hours to see which planet was ruling the hour, okay? So the sun is hot. You can look at the sun as an explosion for between 7 a.m. to 8, when it switches over to 8 and it goes back to Venus. So at 8 a.m., it's letting us know that we're focusing back on the victims. So, an extreme amount of heat, the sun is hot, and then it goes back to who is ruling the victims, which is Venus. So with Venus ruling the AC line, that means we would look towards Venus on the chart. So Venus is ruling this chart at this moment. So Venus is in the 11th house here, and the 11th house is, social groups, communicative spaces, the public as a whole, and humanitarian efforts, communication, and friend groups. So Venus, being in the 11th house, also is ruled by Uranus and Aquarius. And it's being ruled by Virgo right now. So Virgo rules how you work, how you are of service to one another, okay? So our victims are showing up in a group community, okay? So we're dealing with the masses, a larger group, okay? Our victims are in a large group, and we also have Mercury in the first house, which can hint to us that we have more than one victim. It also can hint to us, I don't know, that maybe this event has happened before, that it's twinning, because it's really close to the AC line. So if anyone knows if anything like this has happened, like a scare, maybe they had like an explosion before, or a similar event, because with Mercury riding the victim's AC like that, it means this has happened maybe more than once, and it also can mean that we have more than one victim. So we go back to Venus being in the 11th house, which rules the masses. And the 11th house means that there's a group of people. And Uranus rules this house normally, is the lord of the 11th house, okay? And Uranus is a planet of unexpected, shocking events. Things just happening out of nowhere, a complete utter shock, a complete surprise. So it's letting us know that our victims were shocked and surprised. It's also rules accidents, and just that the masses, the group of people and the masses are going to be utterly shocked about this event, okay? And it's also showing up with Virgo there, meaning that that this event happened while they were at work, okay? So a shocking, unexpected event happening at work, and it's opposing, looks like it's opposing Saturn, which rules their physical bodies. Neptune there being some confusion, delusion, conspiracy theories, and, some secrets, and maybe some half-truth being told, but it's definitely opposing a physical body. So it's letting us know that there's an accident with a large amount of people at their workplace, and it's shocking, okay? All right, so then we go back over to the DC line. Who is ruling the DC? So Mars is ruling the DC because Aries is on the DC on the opposite side. When Mars is ruling the DC, now we look for Mars, okay? So Mars is ruling the open enemy to our victims. And with Mars being over in the first house, that is the explosion. Mars rules fire, weapons, an explosion, accidents, where people are badly hurt, head wounds, lots of cuts and scrapes and bruises all over the body, shrapnel, sharp things that can blow up and hurt you. That's Mars. And Mars is sitting over in Scorpio, okay, which rules death. It rules transformative energy, okay? Scorpio is the ruler of the 8th house. It's in the first there with Libra. So Scorpio is also sharing the energy of the victims, because the first house rules the victims and the AC line rules the victims. So it's letting me know that I could have some deaths. I'm not sure if any deaths have been completely confirmed yet, but I just have to be honest with you that Scorpio does rule. Pluto rules this, and Pluto is the god of the underworld. He takes you in. I mean, he is the god of death and transformation. So the other thing, with Mars being square to Pluto, Pluto is riding the IC, so that is the root of the matter. When Pluto is square Mars, that's another explosion. Pluto causes death. Pluto is also the planet of uranium. Okay, so Pluto was discovered. I mean, just think about it. Pluto was discovered in 1930, and when these planets are discovered, what's going on at that time kind of plays a role with their energy. So Pluto was discovered in 1930, the same year that scientists were able to figure out how to split an atom. Think about all the things that happened after 1930, the atomic bomb, okay? So Mars being fire and an accident and an explosion hitting the bomb, squaring Pluto, which can be the explosion, the actual bomb, okay? And it's at the root, it's right on the root of the matter. And then I have Pluto is opposed Jupiter. So what does Jupiter do? Jupiter makes things bigger, right? Jupiter is going to make this explosion huge, okay? So with an opposition there, there's tension there. So it's bigger, there's tension, and it's over the top of an explosion, okay? And with Jupiter square Pluto like that, it means it's a basically, I'm leaning more towards this as an accident, but I will also read it as maybe there could be something weird here, okay? So, Mars and Scorpio could be someone, that can be the explosion, but it also can be someone who wasn't thinking clearly and had lack of control, right? And they had a lack of impulse control. The sun is in the 12th house, so it gives me kind of maybe a secret or a hidden agenda, or something might be covered up about this event. The light shining on this event, there's going to be something hidden about it, right? Because we have to pay attention to the light in astrology, and the sun is the light, and it's the light is going to be hidden away in the 12th house. So there could be some conspiracy or secrets about it. I'm really hoping not, but I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios that the astrology is talking about. Now, I want you all to remember that these planets are not evil, okay? Please do not think, oh, Mars and Scorpio and Pluto, they're the devil, they're evil, they made this event happen. The planets don't make anything happen. They're just reflecting this energy of what could happen, okay? So it's what could happen. It doesn't mean that that it's going to happen, but these planets are mirroring the same energy, okay? Just like right now we have Pluto with Aquarius, that is the same energy of the French Revolutionary War, World War II, and the Civil War that started America, and America's birthday is coming up. And the planets are kind of reflecting the same energy and feelings that were happening during World War II, all this Nazi stuff, all this war and conflict, and the Civil War, how it was North against South. That energy is in the heavens right now. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it can reflect it, okay? And with Pluto and Aquarius, that was when, the French Revolutionary War, the Irish uprising, all that happened. There was a revolution of energy. And that energy is lingering right now. Again, I'm going to say, don't blame the planets. The planets are just doing their thing. And it's a way I believe that the universe and God, the heavens, whatever you want to believe in, keeps track of us down here. Tells us what's going on or what could happen, okay? So I just don't want you to have any hate towards these planets, because they really are trying their best to communicate with us and trying their best to guide and help us along the way, okay? We just have to learn how to understand their language and how they speak to us, because believe me, they are speaking to us. We just have to learn how to listen, okay? And this is a language that no matter what your culture background, no matter what language you speak, whether you speak Spanish, whether you speak English, whether you speak Portuguese, whether you speak French, whether you speak Egyptian, you can understand what these planets are telling us, because it's a universal language that all of us know. Okay, so what I'm thinking with Jupiter square Pluto, it's a volatile event that somebody might have made a mistake, was looking out for maybe money with Venus playing such a role here. Maybe they were looking to value something, and they were overvaluing something, and they believed something, and they made a mistake, like risky behavior. Maybe they were too confident, okay, about their choice. And it's an accident. They made a mistake because of just risk taking. Somebody had risky behavior, and they might have been looking out for something financial, and it made them feel overconfident about something. And with that Pluto square Jupiter, it's a clash of power dynamics. Maybe someone that's an authority there just made an impulsive choice and made a mistake. So, Saturn in the fifth house, that's ruled by the sun. Again, the sun is hot. The sun rules ego, and the sun also rules people in charge, your boss, your husband, your military, people in power, the kings, people like that. So, and it's opposed the victims. So Saturn rules the physical body. It rules DNA. And it's, in a group of people that's ruling the masses. With Mercury in the first house like that, I have to wonder, it does mean more than one victim. But then again, like I said, this could have happened. There could be a similar situation maybe in the area, or it's mirroring or twinning something else. Again, Mars and Scorpio, that's risky behavior, and that's the explosion and lack of impulse control. Maybe with the sun in the 12th house, it could be someone with a hidden agenda. I really hope not. There's a trine with Pluto and Uranus. With a trine with Pluto and Uranus, that could be, that's the accident. Uranus is the shocking, unexpected event that just went right to the explosion. Remember, Pluto does rule some, elements that it's uranium, okay? It has silver. Pluto has silver, gold, methane gas is Pluto. Deep in Pluto's core is methane gas, uranium, and, silver and gold. That's why Pluto is always rich. Scorpios can make money if they really put their mind to it. It's a very wealthy planet. It's Hades. Hades is smart. He's blind. He sees all. He's no joke, okay? And Scorpios are very smart and creative. Okay, so, I just think that also could be some type of transformation with Pluto trine Uranus there. And that's the pop. Like, Uranus is the unexpected, shocking event. Pluto is that pop in an accident. It's a catalyst of change in everyone's life. Everyone who lives around there, everyone who worked around there, okay? So we also have Uranus. So remember, Uranus is the accident, a shocking, unexpected event out of nowhere. And Uranus makes a sextile to Neptune. So that could be the confusion. That could be this accident having, someone wasn't thinking clearly, or someone believed something and they just didn't think it through. And then you have Neptune sextiles with Pluto, and again, that is gas and the explosion, okay? So I was trying to look to see where an asteroid, I always look him up when there's accidents around, because, if you know your Greek mythology, if you study your Greek mythology, whenever you're doing astrology for accidents, like a car accident, a burn, a crash and burn, basically a crash or a burn or an explosion kind of thing where there's multiple victims involved, you can always look for this asteroid called Phaeton. He's spelled Phaethan, okay? I put him in here. If you know his story, he's the one that stole Helios' chariot. Helios' job in the morning was to pull the sun across the sky so we could have sunlight. And he stole his chariot that had all his horses attached to this chariot. And he lost control of the chariot, Phaethon, and he crashed. And when he crashed, because it's connected to the sun, it's pulling the sun, it made the earth freeze, and then it scorched the earth. So it was the earth was scorched, and it was a fiery crash. And Zeus saved the day. He struck him down with a bolt of lightning, which again, thunderbolt, that's another scorching the earth. And it was a tragedy because there was lots of the horses died. It was tragic, okay? Very sad. So and it was a catalytic moment that changed that story of the Greek mythology for a while. So, I look to see where he's at. I look to see where he's at because I want to see which house he falls in and who's ruling that house and, where he's at on the chart. So he's in the 8th house of death, okay? So he's an asteroid that means an explosion, an accident, someone that might have been reckless, and the moon is there, 4th degree, which, rules the end of the matter. 2nd degree, again, is ruled by Taurus, which is a Venus planet. So again, there is something about maybe someone wanted to take something, or they thought something was of value. Maybe they weren't thinking clearly, because Gemini does rule the mind and how you think, and it's affecting more than one person. And again, there's this twinning. So I feel like this accident is twinning something, okay? Uranus is at 0 degrees, and we have Algol in there, and that's just an explosion right there. So and lack of communication, or communication was hidden somehow because it's in the 8th house. Things can be hidden in the 8th house, and things can also be hidden in the 12th house. So if you look at the DC line, we have Aries right there on the DC. That's also, discord, chaos, a chaotic scene. A wound that never heals is the little K with the circle in Aries. Aries is ruling the DC. That is the explosion. That is fire. That is the boom. And, a wound that never heals in Aries, and it's in the 6th house, which is how you work, okay? At your job. Your work ethics, how you work, how you are of service to one another. So there could be conflict with how we are of service to one another in this job situation that affected the masses, affected multiple people. So if we go up to the MC line, okay, let me just put that up. Okay, so the MC line is, how the world sees it, the reputation, the career, right? So we have Jupiter there, which expands this event. We have Hygeia in the 9th house, and Hygeia rules your health, and it's at the 6th degree. The 6th degree rules how you are at work and how you are of service to one another. So, and how your work ethic is. And I do feel like majority of them must have felt like family. They must have cared about each other. There's some emotions here. And I feel like with the health being there, that it's just really an over the top event, because it's in a house that is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter makes everything bigger, and their health, whoever did pass away, if we do have deaths, as of right now, they're just saying people are missing. They can't find them. There are people that have been sent to the hospital, but this is people's health. Being hurt at the 6th degree, which is at work. Okay. Yeah. So the 6th degree rules the 6th house, which means that it's work and service. I'm curious if there was any family that work together at this place. That, the public will know about, maybe a mother or a daughter or even family. Like people who work here could have been related, possibly. I don't have any proof of that. That's just something that I'm seeing. So the actual MC line is at 1 degree of Leo. So that it goes through 0, it hits 0 and then it goes to 1. So, well, it's 30. It hits 29, 30. So it hits 0 and then it starts at 1, okay, and we're at Leo. And if you look, Selene is in there and she is going to shine light. Leo rules the heart, the ego, the head. It's basically ruled by the sun. So that is the heart and the vital life force, the backbone. And it also rules law enforcement and the military. Leo is power. He's the king. So Trump is our king. In Trump's astrology, he shows up as a king. All right. Just because someone shows up as a king doesn't mean they're going to be a good king. Just remember that. There's a lot of things in Trump's astrology that I do not like. Okay. But I keep hoping for the best. I'm just going to say that. But, the government also rules the 10th house, and we have Leo a king there. So I find that interesting. And that's kind of where, there is going to be this weird thing with military. They're going to definitely be looking at the relationship with military, I'd say, and the relationship with Homeland Security. It's very strange. Maybe Trump might say something about this event. I don't know. But there is authority here, and they're going to be looking into it. I think they're going to be looking into all aspects because Leo does also rule people who are in authority. Could also rule a boss, your boss, your husband. Leo rules people who are an authoritative figure to you. All right. So, I find that interesting that's there. I'm not really going to go off onto it. Like I said, I'm 85% sure this was an accident, and there's another part of me that looks at the chart, and there is this undertone of, maybe something's there. I'm hoping not. Like I said, as of right now, I'm reading the chart as an accident, but I'll probably come back on and do another video and read on it where I see a little conspiracy things happening in the background. But I'm not going to get into that now. Right now, I just want to read the chart as what I'm seeing, as if this is unexpected, shocking event, which is shown, okay? And could be more so human error, and there could be some value involved, money involved, and that somebody was not thinking clearly. Someone of authority may have said the wrong thing or valued the wrong thing, and like I said, I feel like this is twinning another event because of that Gemini sitting so close to the AC, like it's a twin. That maybe they've made the same mistake in the past and it's come back to bite them. I'm not sure, but overall, if you're looking at this, you see Venus. Venus in a house, the 11th house, which is an unexpected, shocking event. Ruled by Virgo, which is at work and how you are of service at work and how you take care of things. Okay. At the 25th degree rules Aries. Aries rules fire. Aries rules explosion. So right there we have victims that rule the masses, a large amount of victims. Okay. A shocking, unexpected event. At the 25th degree, which rules Aries, which is the explosion, Mars, an accident, where people have horrible wounds. This is like shrapnel wounds. This is, Aries rules things that are sharp, knives, guns, metal. Aries rules lots of cuts and scrapes and bruises all over the body. And it's in Virgo, which rules service and work. Okay? Our work ethics, how we are at work, with the masses, right there, for Virgo ruling that house. So, that's why I'm leaning more so that it's an accident. But like I said, I do see other things, but I'm I'm more confident that it's an accident. Another astrologer could come in behind me and say something completely different than what I am seeing. And that's fine. Lots of astrologers read charts differently and they see things differently, but it's still the same basic concepts, okay, of what these planets mean. So I want to go over one last thing with the shapes on the chart. So the chart is a bit, it's very active, okay? You have the two, right off the bat, you see the big two oppositions in the middle of the chart, the two big red X's there. And then you see a trine, and then you see two mini trines. I see a rectangle, and then I see a big T-square as well. So right now, let me just talk to you about the mini square there that's between Venus, pointing up to Jupiter. There's another mini T-square here that points to Saturn and Neptune there. And it involves Uranus, Jupiter, which makes things bigger. The public is going to really look at this. And it goes to Venus, which is the victim. So there's a flow of energy there, right? Then you have this big triangle in the middle of the chart. Okay, so that's a flow of energy again. That's involving the victims. So, the victims in this triangle goes from Venus down to Pluto and DNA. DNA means just that, DNA. And then you see it go to Pluto. Then we have this mini T-square that makes a kite. And again, it's like an airplane flying into the victims again. So that's like a large amount of energy going towards the masses and Venus, which is ruling all of the victims. So there is this also a square, well, it's more like a rectangle. A mystic rectangle is here. That's another flow of energy. Now, usually it's very positive. If you can work with these planets in your natal chart, it's a very positive energy. However, if in crime or in a volatile event, it's almost like all of the planets at the right time made a situation happen. And if we don't learn from this, and if we don't correct what this mystic rectangle is putting out, we won't learn from this event. So there is a lesson to be learned here. There is something here for all of us to take in. Now, whether that's to, bring all of us together as a community, because it doesn't matter which state you live in, we are all connected. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter what religion you believe. It does not matter. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, we are human, and we have to stop removing the human element from our neighbors in our neighboring states and our towns. And just because we have a different color, or just maybe because we have a different religion or a belief, we are all connected. There is a human element here that we can never forget. And this is a tragedy that could truly bring us together. This is a very sad event. And there's people that are missing and unaccounted for. So in the meantime, my heart breaks for my brothers and sisters in Tennessee. Tennessee is a beautiful state. A beautiful state. I mean, it's the salt of the earth. I mean, it's just gorgeous there. The views, the scenery, the mountains, the lakes. Absolutely breathtaking. And I hope this brings us together, to remember that we are neighbors and we are humans. And God and Jesus, He told us to be kind to our neighbors. Love thy neighbor. And that doesn't matter if they're in a different state than you or not. They're still neighbors. We are the United States of America. We are not divided. We are neighbors. And we have to look out for one another. So I really hope that this brings the community together. And, my heart and my thoughts and my prayers and sending nothing but positive energy and, to the victims and the families. This is a big event. It's just tragic. Okay, in the meantime, look after one another, take care of one another, be kind to one another. Blessed be. Bye-bye.